Chapter 3. A Classroom of Sunshine. No one talks to me at school. I feel alone as I stand at the side of the playground. There are the cool kids, and there are the ones people don't speak to, children who are different. I want to speak to them, but I'm afraid of Iris Fudge and her gang. The teachers know there's trouble in our class, but they don't see children push their classmates or hear the bad names. The bullies are clever. Sometimes we speak to a teacher, one who has an understanding face.
Write everything down,
The teacher says to us.
I will make a report and pass it on to the head teacher.
We write a letter, but nothing happens. Things are getting worse. The bullies can contact me in cyberspace at every moment of the day and night. Why can't they leave me alone? And then Miss Sunshine comes into my life. Children stop talking and texting when she walks into the music room in her yellow dress. Her hair is long and golden. She ties it with a silk scarf. She smiles at us and looks at every child. She says,
"Good morning."
then waits. We look at each other. Why is she waiting? Then we realize and we stand up. Dexter is the last one to stand up. He doesn't look happy.
No phones during my lesson.
Miss Sunshine has a box and envelopes with our names on. We don't want to give her our phones. Dexter and Ajax are angry. When Miss Sunshine walks past us, there is a lovely perfume. It's the smell of grass and sweet summer flowers. She asks us our names and doesn't forget them. When she gives us our homework, we have to say thank you. It's our first music lesson, and Miss Sunshine wants us to speak about music.
What music do you like?
Roxy stands up.
I hate classical music.
Hate is a very strong word, Roxy. We don't hate anyone or anything. Why don't you like classical music?
There are too many notes.
She says, and her friends laugh.
I understand your opinion, Roxy. Classical music is difficult. There are a lot of notes.
I play jazz with my piano teacher.
Roxy says. I can feel surprise in the classroom, and I see Miss Sunshine smiling.
Good,
She says.
What about rap music?
Ajax McCoy says.
Now rap music is clever.
Why is it clever, Ajax?
Miss Sunshine asks.
Rap artist songs are like poetry. Each rap song has a message. I like musical theatre.
Says Blaze.
I saw the musical Cats once.
Says Ajax.
Any other important musicians?
Asks Miss Sunshine. Someone says the Beatles. The class says.
No!
You're right.
Says Miss Sunshine.
The Beatles were important for all the music that came after them.
What about Ed Sheeran?
Says Naomi with a stutter. She never speaks.
Excellent, Naomi. Ed Sheeran was really good at music when he was a small child. Like Mozart. He started singing in his local church at the age of 4.
Everyone is good in that first lesson. It's the second lesson when it all begins to go wrong. Chapter 4. Imagine. Miss Sunshine's eyes are cold as she stands in the door of the classroom. A paper aeroplane flies through the air and lands at her feet. Dexter pulls a small boy's arm behind his back. 2 other boys are fighting. Girls are shouting. There's so much noise. Miss Sunshine walks to the teacher's desk, but the noise doesn't stop. She takes a whistle from her bag and blows it. The sound makes the whole class stop and look at their teacher.
Good morning,
Miss Sunshine says. She waits for the class to stand. Some of the boys sit in their chairs. They are writing texts on their phones or listening to music. Blaze is humming,
I see,
says Miss Sunshine. She speaks only to the children who are standing.
Can you bring your chairs round the piano?
I take my chair and sit next to Emma. She's a sweet girl who works hard. She's clever and they laugh at her because she wears glasses. I don't know what Miss Sunshine will do about the other children. She takes some paper from her bag and gives a sheet of paper to Dexter, Ajax, Blaze, Roxy and Iris.
I would like you to write me a few paragraphs on the music I like,
she says. She walks away. They don't say anything. She looks at us and says,
Take a deep breath.
Someone laughs, but Miss Sunshine closes her eyes for a moment.
Stand up.
We all stand.
Shoulders down. Stand tall. Straight backs.
We sing some scales. Our music lessons are a lot of fun. Our old teacher didn't let us sing in music lessons. There are some things in this world that are amazing. I love singing to a real piano. Miss Sunshine plays really well, and then she gives us the music to Imagine by John Lennon. We don't look at the words. We know them. We put the music down and sing from memory. Miss Sunshine asks if anyone would like to sing a solo. The girls whisper, Emma. Shy little Emma, who is clever and wears glasses, has a wonderful voice. And it's strange, because now Dexter, Ajax, Blaze, Roxy and Iris are alone. They are miserable, and we are smiling and having fun. At the end of the lesson, Miss Sunshine collects the sheets of blank paper. She tells them to stay behind.
I want to speak to each of you,
she says.
But we'll miss the school bus home,
says Iris.
My mum will be angry.
The driver will return and take you home later. I'll phone your parents and explain everything.
Roxy gives Iris a killer look, and they become even more miserable. For the first time, I run laughing out of school with Emma. We are smiling and singing Imagine. Chapter 5. Feeling Good. The next morning we go into the music room. I don't know what Miss Sunshine said to Dexter and the others yesterday, but the mood is better. There is more respect. Roxy and Ajax are sitting quietly. They aren't sending text messages. Blaze isn't humming. Dexter isn't rocking on 2 legs of his chair. I hope we are going to sing round the piano. But Miss Sunshine takes an unusual object from her bag.
This is a singing bowl,
she says.
When I run this wooden stick around the bowl, it makes a sound like a bell. This bowl is very old. Listen carefully until you can't hear the sound anymore.
The singing bowl makes a mysterious sound. It sings in my head. About a minute passes. There is complete silence in the classroom.
What can you hear?
Miss Sunshine whispers.
Nothing at all, miss,
says Emma.
Remember that there is silence in music too, and moments of silence are important in our lives. Sound and music can help, and mindfulness helps your brain to work better. Let's make a brain.
What? We look at each other.
Put one hand in the air,
says Miss Sunshine.
Now put your thumb across and curl your fingers over the top. This is the brain.
Cool,
says Ajax.
The mind is complex. It talks. Sometimes there's a lot of stress in our heads.
My brain is always talking to me,
says Ajax.
That's fine. Everyone's brain talks,
says Miss Sunshine.
We can help our brain relax when we are kind to other people. It makes us feel good.
Singing makes me feel good. Can we sing again, Miss?
Asks Ruby.
Of course we can. Bring your chairs closer to the piano.
Miss Sunshine gets us to sing some scales. Miss Sunshine asks Roxy to play the piano. Roxy looks shy at first and says she's too embarrassed to play in front of everyone. When Miss Sunshine says that Roxy can play some jazz, she jumps up. Roxy has got great rhythm. She's really good. I didn't know she had this talent. We sing a song my mum likes, You've Got a Friend by Carole King. I like the words of this song, and singing together makes us feel more united as a class. Singing and mindfulness are helping. My brain feels better by the end of class. I'm less stressed and more relaxed. When the bell rings, we skip to our next lesson. Chapter 6. Fire! Dexter and I sit near each other every day on the bus. We get on and off at the same stop, but he doesn't walk with me. He walks far behind me. He kicks stones along the road. I hurry ahead because I want to get home. I know where Dexter lives. I pass his house every day. But this afternoon, as I look across his front garden, I stop. "Dexter!" I shout. "Quick! Hurry! There's a fire!" My voice is high. I am afraid. He starts to run. Together we run towards the smoke and flames. "Who's in there?" I say.
Mum and my little sister. She's only 3.
I pull my phone out of my pocket and dial 999. I shout fire when they ask me what service I need. I try to breathe slowly and calm myself down. My voice is shaking when I give them the address. Dexter opens the front door and there's lots of black smoke.
I'm going in,
he says. "Wait!" I run to an outside tap and hold my scarf under the water. I run back and tie the scarf around Dexter's nose and mouth. I pull my jacket up over my mouth. "I'm coming with you." He pushes me back.
No, you're not. It's too dangerous. I know where Mum and my sister will be.
Then he goes inside, and all I can do is cry and wait. 1 minute, 2 minutes pass. It seems longer. The fire brigade arrives, then 2 ambulances. Dexter appears through the smoke. He is carrying his sister. His hands are burnt, but he wants to go back for his mother.
"Leave it to us,"
says a fireman. Firemen pull Dexter away from the burning house. He doesn't want to leave. They lift Dexter and his sister into the ambulance and put on the emergency blue light. That scares me. A fireman appears, carrying a woman, and at that moment, there's an explosion.
"Move away from here! It isn't safe!"
A fireman says to me. I can smell fire on my clothes and in my hair. There's nothing for me to do. I walk home. Dexter is away from school for 10 days, and when he returns he has bandages on his hands. Everyone is pleased to see him, especially Miss Sunshine.
How is your mother and your little sister?
She asks. Dexter smiles.
They're doing well. The doctors are great. They are still in hospital, but they will be home soon.
So you are living with your grandma?
Dexter smiles again.
Yeah, she's lovely. We'll be there for a while until the builders repair our house.
You were very brave, Dexter,
Miss Sunshine says. Dexter looks at his shoes.
Not really. I was scared when I went into the house. I couldn't see anything, and it was really hot in there.
Do the police know what started the fire?
Miss Sunshine asks.
They don't know.
Dexter looks around the classroom for me.
Alice was there. She gave me her scarf to put over my mouth. It's the smoke that kills. You saved my life. Thanks, Alice.
And our class cheer, and I'm crying. Dexter is looking down and trying not to cry.
I have something for both of you.
Miss Sunshine gives Dexter a large package and a smaller one to me. Dexter's is a violin. A really good one. I can see he's pleased.
It's awesome,
He says.
I love it.
I don't play the violin anymore. I want you to play it.
Miss Sunshine turns to the class.
I don't think you know that Dexter is very talented. He plays jazz violin very well.
She looks at Dexter.
You can't play at the moment. Will you play for us when your hands are better?
Dexter smiles.
Of course.
In my package there is a ukulele.
For the ukulele band we're starting.
Miss Sunshine says.
It's easy to learn, and I want the band to play in the school musical.
A musical?
A musical.
Everyone says together. We all smile. Chapter 7. Everyone has a talent. My world is different, and everything is better. We all talk about the musical. We don't walk to classes, we dance along the corridors. Ajax, who's good with words, is writing the story, and we practice the songs every day. Our voices are better, stronger, with Miss Sunshine teaching us. Mr. Week hums when he passes the music room.
Everyone has a talent. You just have to find it.
Miss Sunshine says during our lesson. She's right. There are so many people in our class who have a special talent. Iris Fudge is a brilliant dancer. We didn't know. I love watching her when she's dancing. She becomes someone else, so beautiful and full of life. She's practicing after school every day with some girls who study ballet. People who are good at art are painting the scenery. And me? I'm singing in the chorus and learning the ukulele in my free time. I follow lessons online and I practice in my bedroom. Dexter is responsible for the orchestra and their rehearsals. He's very musical. He has a great feel for rhythm. And he's changed. He's kind to people, and that can make you feel good. And the funny thing is that Dexter is different physically too. His eyes are not small and hard. They are soft. He looks taller, more responsible. He smiles a lot. Dexter is someone I can trust. He's playing the violin again now that his hands are better. The sound he makes is beautiful. When he plays, I feel happy. We travel home together on the bus, and he talks about the music and performers he loves. He wants to go to music college in London when he finishes school. How often do you practice? I ask him.
Every day. An hour before school and a couple of hours when I get home.
Wow, I say.
If I work really hard, I'll pass the audition.
And then what? I ask.
A career in music, I think.
He says.
I can play in an orchestra or form my own jazz group. What do you want to do, Alice?
I want to be a doctor, I say, in a small voice. We sit in silence for a minute, and I start to panic. I'm expecting him to laugh and return to the old Dexter. But he smiles.
You'll do it, Alice. It won't be easy and you'll have to work hard. But I know you'll do it.
And I'm not sure why, but I feel strange. Chapter 8. The Talent Scout. There is no bullying anymore, and there is more respect for the teachers. The school magazine is all about the musical, interviews with the cast and with Ajax. The story is about people who are different. We can't all be the same. The message is to be kind to someone every day. Most of all, it is about the power of friendship. Tickets are sold out for all 5 performances, and we are all excited. I'm playing the ukulele in one song, and I'm singing in the chorus. The songs make us happy. We are full of confidence. School has a greater purpose.
This is your musical,
Miss Sunshine says.
Smile and enjoy the evening.
We are nervous as we wait. It's 5 minutes before the musical starts, and I look round the curtain at the audience. The concert hall is full. Why have all those parents brought video cameras? The music starts. This is it. We step into another world of lights and costumes, and little shy Emma sings beautifully on stage. It's a new and exciting experience. A live performance is very different. We can hear the audience laugh and clap. It's great to see their reaction. Their eyes are wide, their faces are smiling. They're enjoying every moment. I can see my parents' surprise when the chorus sings. We are fantastic. We sing and dance for 5 nights. On the first night, Mr. Week gives flowers to Miss Sunshine and the other teachers. We have a party. We are happy. One morning, Miss Sunshine comes into the music room. She has something to tell us. She closes her eyes until there's silence, then opens them again.
An American talent scout came to one of your performances.
She can see we don't understand what a talent scout is. She tries again.
A talent scout is someone who recognizes great talent and promotes it.
We all say.
His name is Addison Bell. He's a friend of mine, and he came to talk to me at the end of the musical. He's American, from Los Angeles. He wants to take your musical to Hollywood this summer.
Silence. Then there are cheers and laughter and crying.
He thinks there's great talent in this show, and he wants American children to hear your message of friendship.
Miss Sunshine says. The summer holidays arrive and we fly to Hollywood. Limousines pick us up at the airport. I feel like a celebrity when I walk the red carpet entrance to the Beverly Hills Hotel. It's great. There's a pool surrounded by palm trees in tropical gardens. Dexter is happy because musicians play jazz in the restaurant. There isn't much free time, but when we do have a moment, we watch people and Lamborghinis in the city centre. Rehearsals are going well, and we will perform in a theatre. It's our first night tomorrow, and we are all excited. I don't want this to end. I don't want to come back down to earth. But with Miss Sunshine in our lives, what will happen next? And I suppose you think this is the end of my story, but not quite. Music is a powerful force, and I love Dexter's violin playing. We spend a lot of time together. We watch the sunsets, we laugh and talk. When his hand touches mine and our fingers meet, we don't let go.
At this time of year, and this time of day, there were very few people in the park. It was probable that the young lady, who was sitting on one of the benches, had just wanted to rest for a while and think about the coming spring. She sat there, thoughtful and still. The sadness in her eyes seemed to be something new, because it had not yet changed her bright young face, nor turned her soft lips into a thin, hard line. A tall young man came walking through the park along the path near the bench where she was sitting. Behind him came a boy carrying a suitcase. When the man saw the young lady, his face changed to red and back to pale again. He watched her face as he came closer, and his own face showed both hope and worry at the same time. He passed her only a few meters away, but she gave no sign that she had seen him or even knew he was there. 50 meters further on, the young man suddenly stopped and sat down on a bench by the path. The boy dropped the suitcase and stared at him with wondering eyes. The young man took out his handkerchief and wiped his face. It was a good handkerchief, a good face, and the young man was good to look at. He said to the boy, "I want you to take a message to that young lady on that bench. Tell her I am on my way to the station to leave for San Francisco. From there I shall travel north to the wild places of Alaska. Tell her that, as she has ordered me neither to speak nor to write to her. I am taking this chance to appeal to her one last time. Tell her that she has been unkind and unjust to someone who has done no wrong, and she has given him no reasons and no explanations. Tell her that I do not believe her to be an unjust person. Tell her that I have disobeyed her orders in the hope that she will return to the paths of justice and reason. Go and tell her that." The young man dropped $50 into the boy's hand. The boy looked at him for a moment with bright, intelligent eyes out of a dirty face, then turned and ran down the path. As he came closer to the lady on the bench, he studied her carefully. The lady looked back at him coolly. "Lady," the boy said, "that guy on the other bench sent yer a song and dance by me. If yer don't know the guy, and he's trying to do some funny business, say the word, and I'll call a cop in 3 minutes. If yer does know him, and he's all right, then I'll give yer the song and dance that he gave me." The young lady showed a little, just a little interest. "A song and dance," she said in a very sweet voice that seemed to suggest something not at all sweet. "A new idea. A kind of traveling singer, I suppose. I used to know the gentleman who sent you, so it will not be necessary to call the police. Please begin your song and dance, but do not sing too loudly. It is not really the time or the place for that kind of thing." "Aw, come on, lady," said the boy. "You know what I mean. It ain't a song and dance, really. It's a lot of hot air. He told me to tell you he's got his shirts in that case and he's moving on to Frisco. Then he's going on up to Alaska. He says you told him not to send round no more love notes nor stand around looking over the garden gate. He says you threw him out like last year's hat and never gave him no chance to argue. He says you told him to go and never said why." The interest in the young lady's eyes did not go away. Perhaps her interest was in the cleverness of the future Alaskan traveler, who had found a way to get round her orders. She fixed her eyes on an untidy-looking tree in the park and spoke to the messenger. "Tell the gentleman that he knows very well what my ideals are. He knows what they have been, and he knows what they still are. In this matter, the two most important ideals are that a person should be true and loyal. Tell him that I have studied my own heart, and I know that it can be weak as well as strong. That is why I do not wish to listen to his arguments or to hear any words from him at all. I am not unjust, and have never been unjust. But if he really wants to hear what he already knows, you may tell him this. Tell him I entered the garden room that evening from the door at the back to cut a flower for my mother. Tell him I saw him and Miss Ashburton beneath the pink oleander bush. It was a pretty picture indeed, but the juxtaposition told the whole story without the need for a single word. I left the garden room at once without the flower, and with my ideals broken into 100,000 pieces. You may take that song and dance to your dancing teacher. Juxta? Help me out, lady, said the boy. Give me an easier word, will you? Juxtaposition. Or if you like, closeness. The kind of closeness that can destroy an ideal in a second. At once the boy turned and ran back to the other bench. The young man's eyes questioned him hungrily. The boy's eyes shone with excitement at his new job as translator. The lady says that she knows that girls just can't stop listening when a guy comes telling stories and trying to be real nice and friendly. That's why she won't listen to no sweet words from yer. She says she caught yer in the hothouse under the flowers with your arms around a girl. She just stepped in the back to get a flower for her ma, and yer was holding this other girl real nice and close. She says it looked pretty, all right, but but it made her sick. She says you're gotta get busy and get off and get that train real quick. The young man's eyes opened wide, and his eyes lit up with a sudden thought. His hand flew to the inside pocket of his coat and pulled out a handful of letters. Choosing one, he gave it to the boy, together with a silver dollar from another pocket. Give that letter to the lady, he said, and ask her to read it. Tell her that it should explain everything. Tell her that she needs another ideal. She must learn to trust, and that trust can prevent much unnecessary heartache. Tell her that her ideals are not broken. Tell her that the true and loyal person is still true and loyal and has not changed in any way. Tell her I am waiting for an answer. The messenger stood before the lady again. The guy says there's been bad things said about him, and it ain't right. It ain't just. He says he ain't a bad guy. And lady, you read that letter, and you're going to see that he's all right. All right. The young lady took the letter. She seemed unsure about it, but she opened it and read it. Dear Dr. Arnold, I want to thank you for the very kind help that you gave to my daughter last Friday evening when she became suddenly ill with her old heart trouble in the garden room at Mrs. Waldron's party. It was so lucky that you were near enough to catch her as she fell and were able to give her a doctor's care at once. We are sure that you saved her life. I would be happy if you would visit us soon as her doctor. Gratefully yours, Robert Ashburton. The young lady closed the letter and gave it back to the boy. The guy wants an answer, said the messenger, What's the word, lady?" The lady's eyes were suddenly very bright and smiling. "Tell that guy on the other bench," she said with a happy, shaky little laugh, "that his girl wants him."